Hey guys, welcome to Wildwood Studio. I'm Sarah, and in this video, I'm going to be burning on leather, which is something that I've never done before. I got this wallet custom made by a friend who's a leather worker, and I've already drawn up a concept design based on the Witcher franchise, so now I'm ready to transfer the image from my sketchbook to the wallet and get burning. Before I go any further, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. So as I was saying before, this wallet was handmade by my friend Graham, who makes all kinds of custom leather goods. His Instagram is Graham the Leather Guy, and I'll put the link in the video description if you want to see more of his work. This wallet is made from vegetable tan leather, which, if you want to try burning on leather, is important to know because I am told that chrome or chemical tan leather can be toxic to burn. So it's important to make sure you're using either natural tan or vegetable tan leather. Graham also told me that he likes working with veggie tan leather because it's easier to form, which is something that I don't know much about, but he's pretty skilled at this, so I'm going to take his word for it. This wallet was sort of a test for me to see how much I like leather burning, because some materials are just more fun to burn on than others. For example, paper burning, which is a thing you can do, is really not for me. I just do not find it satisfying, and I find it is a lot of work, so I prefer to work on wood. But based on this, I think I will do some more burning on leather in the future. So please let me know if you guys would like to see more leather burnings, and maybe I'll give Graham some more business and get him to make me a bag or something. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit about the design for my wallet, and then I'll discuss some of the differences I found between burning on leather and burning on wood. For the design, if you've watched the show or played the games, you will probably recognize the Witcher imagery. I decided to sort of mix up stuff from the games and stuff from the show because I like both, so I put the medallions, both medallions from the show and from the games on the pocket on the right-hand side on the inside of the wallet, and I included one of the symbols from the show along with the text on the left. For the outside of the wallet, I used an image of Henry Cavill's portrayal of Geralt from the show, but the creature that I chose is called a Leshen, and it's from the games. I picked that creature at my husband's suggestion because he is in need of a new wallet, and he will probably be using this one when I'm done, and a lot of the Witcher's monsters are very cool looking, but also very gross. And I didn't think that he would want a wallet with a striga or a botchling on it to use every day. So before I started, I drew the whole thing out in my sketchbook. First, I did a couple of rough layouts before I decided on one that I liked, and then I did that good quality one that you saw at the beginning so that I could transfer that onto the wallet. To transfer it, I just used a bit of tracing paper because drawing directly on wood or leather does not allow you to mess up and erase things very easily. So I did all the drawing on paper where I'm allowed to mess it up and then traced it to put it onto the wallet. The first thing I found with the leather was pretty minor. The pencil rubbed off it a lot more easily than with wood, probably because it's so smooth or something to do with the natural oils. And I was worried about covering my wallet with pencil smudges, so I chose to transfer each image right before I burned it instead of doing it all at once at the beginning, which is what I would have normally done on wood. The next thing I noticed with burning on leather was a pretty big difference, and that was the temperature setting that I used. I decided to start burning with the wording on the inside of the wallet because I thought that it would be the easiest thing to do, and it's a good thing that I did. I use a razor tip burner, and it has a temperature dial that goes from 1 to 10, so usually when I'm burning, I work anywhere between a 4 for really light sections and a 10 for black backgrounds. But with the leather, my absolute highest setting was a 4, and I did most of the wallet in the 1 to 3 range, and even the 1 was pretty hot for the leather. So all that to say I had to burn at a much lower temperature than I'm used to. Even so, it was still pretty quick to burn on leather when compared to wood. I found that there was a lot more chance of scorching it and having my burner sink into the leather and create dark spots, so I had to keep moving at an even pace if I didn't want that to happen. So basically, because I'm new at this, the order that I chose to work in was from the easiest sections to what I thought would be the most difficult. So I did the words first and the symbol on the left-hand side because there was very little shading involved in those, and then I did the 2 Witcher medallions next, followed by the Leshen on the outside, and finally, the most difficult, the picture of Geralt. This gave me a chance to sort of learn as I went, and I'm glad I left the portrait to last because, to me, people are the most difficult thing to burn. And usually when I'm burning wood, I'll say, if you burn something, you can't get rid of it, but that is extra true with leather. At least with wood, you have the last chance option of removing small problems with sandpaper, but I accidentally scorched one of the card pockets on the inside near the top of the wolf medallions. You may have noticed when I did it, but I had to carefully scrape the burned section off with a knife. I didn't really find any other good way to remove a mistake, so I essentially just had to be very careful because every mark I made was permanent. For this burning, I also used a wider variety of burning pens than usual. Some of you may know I have a pretty big preference for my spoon shader pen, and sometimes I'll use that one to do an entire burn. But that was just a little too big for what I was trying to do here, and was actually what caused me to scorch the pocket on the inside, so I actually ended up doing a lot of this shading in the smaller areas with my ball-tipped pen, which is something I generally never really use, and I did all the outlines with my rounded spear-tip pen. About the outlines, the one downside that I found with the leather is that the range of tones seemed to be a little more limited. Usually I burn on basswood, which is a very pale wood, and I can burn it almost black, but with the leather, the base color was already kind of a light mid-tone, and because it burns at such a low temperature, it got relatively dark pretty quick, and I couldn't really get subtle shading. I'd probably get better at that if I did it more, but I also had trouble getting really dark tones without getting out of control and causing dents and scorch marks. This problem was sort of amplified by the fact that Geralt has white hair, and I made his shirt sort of a mid-tone instead of black so that it wouldn't overpower his face, so he ended up not having a lot of contrast. So I made the decision to go around everything and give it a really dark outline just on the outside of each drawing just to make it pop a little more. And I actually think this worked really well, especially because it's a wallet, which is a thing that's meant to be used, so it has a bit of a stylized look to it now. And even with all that being said about the limited range of tones, I still really enjoyed burning on leather. It's so smooth you have no grain to deal with. Even with my usual choice of basswood, which is a wood with very, very little visible wood grain, you still have to prep it and sand it and deal with imperfections, and even so, there's a mild grain to deal with, and that was just not the case with the leather. So that made it really easy to get smooth shading, once I got used to the lower temperatures. So I really enjoyed doing this burning, and now that Adam has a new wallet, I think I'm definitely going to burn something for myself, though I need to figure out a way to coat this to protect it from being bleached by the sun or damaged by going in and out of a pocket. So if anyone watching this has burned on leather before and has any tips for that, I would really appreciate it. But all in all, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think the lesson was the most successful part of the burn, but I'm also pretty proud of Geralt because I sort of didn't think it through when I put a portrait on this wallet when it was my first time burning on leather. So I was actually kind of really worried about it going in, especially since I'd already done the lesson and it looked so good and I just really didn't want to mess it up. But I think he turned out pretty good. So here's a picture of the finished wallet. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want to see more of my work, you can check out my Facebook page or follow me on Instagram. Also, please make sure to like this video if you haven't already and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss all my future art videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.